Hey everybody, welcome into our second Zoom reunion that we're doing here for Lander Bearcats. So we talked to the 2018 region champion men's soccer team last week. Today we are talking to the 2016 baseball Southeast region champions, Lander's last Southeast region title and their second in school history in 2016. We've got several players and former head coach Kermit Smith all on the call with us. Gentlemen, I'll go in and introduce everybody real quick, and if you can, just kind of let people know what you've been up to ever since that 2016 season and kind of what you're doing now. We'll start with Brandon White, who at the time was Lander's closer in 2016, went on to be drafted by Atlanta. B. White, what's going on, buddy?
Not too much, Rick's just hanging out, trying to get through the coronavirus, man. Working out, trying to get ready for the season whenever they call us. I don't know when that's going to be. Doesn't seem like it's going to be at all, but just trying to stay ready for whenever they call me and say it's time to go. So besides that, playing a lot of golf and working a couple jobs, trying to make some money. So not too much.
Still can't break 90.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
It's only out there.
So we'll transition down to Thomas Berry. Thomas was Lander's DH. Thomas, what, your 8th or 9th year of eligibility in 2006?
Yeah, it was something like that. But I'm still not as old as Lusignan, so I'm second
Come
oldest.
on, bro.
Oh man, but no, good times. It's good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. I'm not doing anything quite as cool as what Brandon's doing. I got a job, I guess, and playing golf. So good times.
And Colby Lusignan was the Lander's first baseman. That was his second season with the program. Went on to be drafted by Miami, which was a bit of a theme with that 2016 team. Swelby, what's up, buddy?
Hanging in there, man. I played a few years pro ball. Didn't pan out. Went back to Lander, got my degree, and doing some personal training stuff, trying to figure it out right now, kind of riding it out, the whole Corona thing like everybody else. So, is what it is.
Andrew Reardon was another Bearcat pitcher, went on to sign a pro contract after the 16 season. Drew's been doing some work with LanderBearcats.com and the athletic department lately. Drew, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good to be here. Thanks, Rickson, for getting us all together. Like you said, after a little bit of indie ball, wrapped up playing overseas, lucky enough to come back, help the program out. Media's popping nowadays, all about the clout. So we've been able to help out, get some stuff rolling. It sucks that the season got cut off, but, lucky to be able to come help out, and just been doing a little media marketing for small businesses and whatnot. So same thing, trying to figure it out.
Another Bearcat pitcher was J.D. Waite. A bunch of big starts for him in that 2016 season. J.D., how you holding up, bud?
Hanging in there like everybody else, man. Like Drew said.
Hanging in there, paya.
Good to see everybody. Everybody still being, holding it down, doing what we do, just beefing it up, trying to survive just like everybody else, man. It's good to see everybody.
Always.
Another Bearcat that went on to be signed by Miami is Zach Daly. Zach was a center fielder for the Bearcats that 2016 season, single season home run leader. I forgot to throw out that T-Bear's the all-time home run leader, or was until 2 seasons ago. Zach still got the single season record. Zach, what's going on, man?
What up? Yeah, so played for the Marlins for a little bit. So then I was doing life insurance for about a year. Didn't like that, so I went back to school, went to Wilmington, caught some waves, got pitted a little bit. Got my degree. That's what I was mainly going for. And now I'm working at Insight Global as a recruiter in Uptown Charlotte.
Then another Bearcat outfielder was Taylor Kellner. Taylor was the left fielder for Lander in 2016. Kels, what you doing, man?
I'm slinging those RVs, Sonny's Camp and Travel. I've been working for about 3 years now, wishing I was still out there on the diamond with my boys.
And then we've got the catcher, John Mangum. 2016 was another guy with his second year of the program. Max, what you been doing, man?
What's up, everybody? It's good to see y'all. I actually ended up moving back home and was working at a restaurant for about 6 months and was bringing all the energy in the world every single day. And got a gig at Showcase Baseball Academy up here in Lake Norman. So I'm a director of baseball operations. I manage the facility. manage all of our youth teams from 8U to 17 and under. And I coach a couple teams as well and do some private instruction. So I'm still in the game. Lucky enough to be able to share what I got to learn along the way and what I was taught, as well as able to stay ready for whenever B. White calls me up to be his catcher again when he makes it big with the brace. So
Anytime. I still need you. You know me better than anybody.
no doubt. How are you doing, by the way, after getting decked on the mountain?
Oh, dude, my chest still hurts. No kidding. Every day, my chest still feels like crap.
It's just a little piece of me that, I got to leave with you.
That's right.
The rest of your life.
It just sticks out. I kid you not, my collarbone sticks out on my right side way more than the other. Like, I don't know how it's so funny, but I'm doing it.
Not sorry about it whatsoever.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be, and I'm not sorry about it either. I love it.
And then we got Will Jones, who Jones in 2016 was a weekend starter and a middle infielder for that Bearcat team. Went on to get drafted by the Yankees. Will, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just hanging out down here in good old state of Georgia. Currently working at the Warner Robins Air Force Base. Our mission is putting warheads on foreheads, so still bringing the energy. Also getting ready to welcome our new addition, little baby girl, Adeline Rainey Jones. So stepping it up.
Jones?
Yes,
Yo.
sir.
Love it, man.
Yep. Papa Jones. Hope she's not as bad as me. So.
And then the late arrival to the chat was Lander's head coach in 2016, Kermit Smith. Coach, what's been going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's bringing back a lot of really good memories. Just seeing you guys, pretty awesome. Miss you guys.
Miss
you, man.
That's you, Coach.
So let's go and let's talk a little bit about that season, that 2016 campaign. And B. White, I'll start with you, but anybody wants to chime in on this, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. I want to start with that preseason because I remember being around you guys during that time and hearing vague stories about that preseason, but obviously I wasn't getting up at whatever ungodly hour y'all were getting up at for it. What were those workouts like from the end of the summer in 2015 going into 2016? What do you remember about that preseason?
To say the least, we were pretty embarrassed about how we played in 2015 because we knew we were a lot better than that. And luckily we had a really good senior group with Johnny Maggs, Leonid, and Colby, and all those guys. It started night one at Legion Field. I'll never forget that night. That was easily the toughest workout we ever did. And I think that really set the momentum for the season, though, when Colby and Johnny Maggs went at it on the tire fight. I'll never forget that. That was the longest 30 minutes of my life, watching those guys kick their tails, but knowing that that's how the season was going to go. That Johnny Maggs and Colby being best friends, but at the end of the day, when we were on the field, it didn't matter. We had to do what we had to do to get better. And it just started from that night, that first night when we took that bus over with the police escort and stuff like that, that was a long day thinking about it, drinking a lot of pre-workout and it was a lot of anxiety, to say the least. But from that night on, it was go time. I think from that night, we knew that there was going to be something special. And it was crazy to think from 2015, because we brought back a lot of the same guys. It was just a complete mentality shift, like 180, just from night one. And it was nothing different, just guys just wanted to win, and that's all we wanted to do. So I don't know what anyone else thinks about it, but that's just from night one.
Got chills many times in this, but sure.
Yeah, I think to piggyback B. White, like you said, we were all pretty disappointed in the year prior, and a lot of us that year coming in were a lot of new guys, and we came in and just didn't perform the way that we knew we should. So coming back the next year, I think it was important for us to set the tone. And still to this day, I haven't been more tired than I was after that tire fight with John. I was gassed. And I think like B. White said, that kind of set the tone of where the seniors' mindset was at, and everybody else needed to kind of hop on board with that.
Yeah, I think I probably everybody here will agree as well. Seeing some of the seniors go out the year before the way they did, Hyatt and Long and all those guys, to go out, with such good careers, but for it to be cut short and just underachieve so poorly from what talent level we really had. For me, like personally, that was my motivating force the entire summer. After that season and the preseason as well, just knowing, hey, if it is the last rodeo, which it ended up being for myself, I don't want any regrets. I don't want to be able to say we gave 50% or didn't pour everything that we could into it and sacrificed our body and personal time and everything. And I think as a group, as a whole, without that even having to be talked about, everybody just jumped in, and that's what it was from the get-go.
So, Coach, I want to ask you, and other guys might have moments that stick out to them, but for you, was there a moment when you looked at that group and realized, hey, we might have something special here with this team?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of moments, throughout the year. I think one specifically, we were doing our carry challenge, somewhere in the middle of it, which led into the end of it, John and Will, had words, and winning that competition was so important to the two of them that they were willing to fight for it. And, I remember bringing them together at the end, and can't really remember exactly what we talked about, but something to the fact that they would go clean the field together. And I think they were over it almost immediately, but it was the fact that it was that important to them. I think that was a really big moment for us, is to know that it was that, because like Brandon said, it was a lot of the same guys returning. But there had to be a little bit of a mentality shift in how we went about our business. And, to go from a really talented roster to, again, a lot of the same guys returning again to a really talented roster again, but that mentality shift, that it had to be more about us than it was about maybe the individual. And I think the second thing to piggyback off that is I thought that, how the guys on this call accepted the freshmen was humongous. We had a really important freshman class that year. They all made some big pitches or got a big hit or got a big bunt, and they all played a really big role. Not as big as, again, the guys on this phone call, but they played some really important roles in that. And I don't think they would have felt that comfortable doing that had they not have been accepted by this group. And that's a lot of little stories, but those were the two big ones for me, is how important that was, winning a carry challenge. That first workout, the one they're referencing with Colby and John, and then just the acceptance of new players into that program, specifically the freshman class, was vital to our success.
Yeah, definitely. I know Coach gave us a big little thing at the beginning of that year, and we didn't really know kind of what we were expecting and all, but I think we really embraced the challenge of taking the younger guys and just making them a ball player. Nothing with age, nothing with skill level, just one of us kind of showing us how we do the Lander way, just grinding it out. And I really feel like we embraced those guys, and they became, like you said, a huge part of us. And, you couldn't tell who was a freshman. And, obviously, when you look at them, but you couldn't tell who was a freshman, who was a senior, because we all bonded, which was huge.
So then you guys get into the season, start with Mount Olive and really good 2 games with them, and get to 8-2 going into the first weekend of conference play, which was Flagler. And the way the schedule broke, it was you guys had Flagler, and then you were going to get USC Aiken. For you guys to go out in that first weekend and sweep Flagler, which you were able to do, how important was that? Because I remember being with you guys the year before, when I think we were number 3 in the country, and Flagler swept in that opening series, and then you had to go play Aiken, who was obviously a really good program. How big was it to get that season opening sweep in conference play, to be 3-0 after the first weekend, after having been 0-3 the year before?
I guess I'll start that. I think, in all honesty, I think us getting swept by Aiken the following weekend of that year and how we responded to that was about more important than us starting the conference season 3-0. I mean, we faced some adversity then. I think Coach Smith pulled us all into the hotel meeting room, and he kind of was just like, you know what, y'all are going to be able to do what y'all want to offensively, and we really stepped it up the rest of that weekend. And we went in after Aiken and saw, we got swept. We could fold right then, and obviously we didn't. And that it was good to start with some adversity at the beginning of the season, especially against our rival. And damn if it didn't feel good sweeping them at the end of the season in regionals.
Made it that much sweeter for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think sweeping Flagler gave us some breathing room at the very beginning, but I agree with Thomas. That Aiken weekend really sticks out to me because I'm pretty sure we got blasted game 1 against Aiken, and Coach took us into the room, gave us a speech, and said, "We're going to find out what kind of a team you are after this loss." And I remember the vibes in the room were just like, we were pissed because it's like we'd almost gotten too comfortable, and he kind of took us back and whipped us into shape, and we fought our butts off for the rest of that weekend. We put up big numbers, and we still got swept, and it hurt. But if I remember right, I think we went on like a 16-game winning streak after that. And there was one point in that season during that streak where I didn't think we were going to lose again. That's how I felt. I felt like we were unbeatable.
Get to that bullpen.
That was a big. Yeah, it was 15 in a row after the Aiken win. It was y'all played Aiken in February 21st. I think was the last game. And you didn't lose again for 30 days. I think it was 15. It was 15 straight. Zach, what for you guys, or for you, I guess, and anybody else who has an answer, I'd love to hear it. That regular season, you guys obviously played a ton of memorable games in the postseason. Was there a regular season game that is the most memorable to you from that regular season run?
For the regular season game, I don't know if it's regular season. It was probably the tourney play when we were playing in Florence. That game where we were playing to get into the championship, and the fire that everyone had for that game was just unreal. Like, I've never seen an entire team get that pumped for a game, and that just shows what type of players we had playing all together and type of people we had.
It was like a 13-run 7th inning that ended up letting us run rule them or something like that, and
right.
None of us even knew that there was a run rule like in effect. We were all shocked when they called the game because we weren't even focused on there being a run rule or getting to that point or anything. We just kept pouring it on. And it was kind of like us just letting everything kind of finally come out, and playing without any worry or anything. That we played with reckless abandon at that point. We didn't care who it was; they were in the way.
I think for me, I think what really, when we were starting to do all the carry challenges like that, and I think the season that, like the early part of the season when we played Mount Olive, the game that you put up the other day on LanderdBearcats.com, I said there, watch it. Of course I watched it. Why wouldn't I? And we were down. I forgot we were down 7-2 going into the 7th inning there. Like, I completely forgot that we were down. And I think, like, looking back on it, like our team in 2015, like, I think we shut off there. I really do think that we don't win that game. And I think when we made that turn and Swobie hits that ball that went through the scoreboard, I still think it's still broken.
State Farm.
And he hits that home run.
State Farm.
Yeah. No. I think that point, that's when I looked at Sage. I was like, we're going to be pretty damn good. Like, we're going to be good. Like, we got a chance. Like, playing on 2014, I was like, this team is better than 2014. Like, we have a serious chance to make a run. And I think that game for me, it will always stick out, because we were down 7-2, and that Dolly magic, it's a real thing. If people don't think it's a real thing, you're a liar.
I was going to say the same
earn it,
thing
though.
as B White. Yeah, I mean, I was just say the same thing. I mean, Mount Olive to start the season is a tough start. I mean, we knew that going into it, and just like you said, being down and being able to flip the switch and pour the runs on and get the win. I think that was like, look, we're not even playing close to our best ball right now, and we're still able to turn it on and beat a quality team like that. I think that was a pretty good indicator of the year that we had the ability to have.
Yeah, and I think kind of piggybacking off of that is we had faced so much adversity in the previous 7 days, not knowing who's going to start where or what have you. Zach Jaszewski's in the mix at shortstop. Carson Jones is in the mix at third base, and we lose them both to season-ending injuries literally within 7 days of our first game. And if we think back to the 15 season, Colby and Kellner, both have injuries that prevent them from completing our fall and really training the correct way coming into January. And then Zach gets hurt, so I just think that there was a chance there to kind of look at that and say, oh my gosh, here we go again, and we didn't do that. And I think that's something that a lot of people forget is, we got Ryan Troutman, who's a catcher at the time, pitching a little bit. He's playing third base. Mason Dodd's opening day shortstop when he hadn't taken one rep at shortstop the entire year. Will Jones, we're really concentrating on being a starting pitcher. Really didn't get much reps at the plate. And then he comes in and has a great offensive year. The amount of things that the players did that year, I kind of side with Brandon there a little bit. That mentality was it was special because there was so many opportunities for us to say, yeah, this just ain't going to work out. Matt White plays shortstop, and he didn't have any reps playing shortstop. I mean, really, Zach and Carson were getting all those reps on the left side of the infield with Sage. Next thing you know, we throw Troutman over there to get a few ground balls. I think Johnny, you got some ground balls. I mean, just really everything, man. And then we go into game one again against Mount Olive, a good program. And we just say, all right, well, Mason, go get shortstop, and he had a good freshman year. Again, back to that freshman, and then, hey, Troutman, go play some third. Sage, go play some third, back and forth. Mason, pop over to third. Matt, go to shortstop. Will, hey, I know you just pitched 7 innings, go to second base. Just a mixture of all those guys, man. There was so much adversity and so many opportunities for us to kind of look at that and say, yeah, just here we go again, man. We're going to get banged up again, and we didn't do that. So I think that's really important. I was watching some videos the other day that, Andrew, you're over there receiving the throw from Colton to finish off that complete game. You're playing first base over there, and you're playing right field. You're playing positions throughout the year, and just so many guys.
I made a diving catch, but it was more of a roll. But
yeah.
I remember.
But I mean,
that one
so many guys are doing so many things in that it was literally a team effort. It was really special.
So you get through the regular season, 36-12, right on the edge of the top 10 in one poll, and I think number 9 in another, and get through the conference tournament like you guys talked about with the 13-run inning against Flagler. Zach hits the game winner against Mount Olive, and then B. White, you had to sit on the bus for I think 35 minutes in a lightning delay with 2 outs in a 1-run game to beat Montevallo. Then lose a game to Aiken and pool play to end it, get to the championship against Columbus State and fall to that one, and then find out you're a 2 seed going back to go play Columbus again, or go to play at Columbus State for the regional. JD, what was the mood for that team going into the regional? Because I mean, I'm looking at the screen. I think only 3 of the guys on the screen had ever played in a regional at Lander before. I mean, a lot of guys had come down from D1 or come up from junior college, but there's only 3 of you that have been to a regional from this group. What was the mood going into Columbus State that week?
Man, I think it was back against the wall, after the year before. What are we going to do? What are we made of? What are we going to show people that is different this year than last year, plus or minus a few guys? You know what I mean? I mean, like they all said, everybody bought into the mentality. There wasn't one guy on the team that wasn't pulling his weight, and if he wasn't, the guy next to him picked it up. It was just one after another. We're gonna score runs. We're gonna get outs. We're gonna do whatever we gotta do to make the outcome much better and much different than the year before. And like I said, it was no option. No option. We were gonna win no matter what. Everybody knew it going in, and it stuck with us till the very end.
Were you guys hoping you'd get Aiken in the final? Because you beat Mount Olive, then you beat Belmont Abbey, and the way it worked out, you had to see Aiken again. Was that what you guys wanted?
What I wanted.
I think we were just in general from.
I definitely don't mind ending their season for sure. Not at all.
Yeah, there couldn't have been a better opponent for us to win and go to Cary than them. Them or Columbus.
Especially after getting swept regular season and then having that chance in the conference tournament too to take that one home and get that ring doing that and stick it to them there as payback, and then still coming up short. I think that kind of allowed us that motivation, that chip on our shoulder going into that regional. Like, hey, we've got a shot at Aiken now. We've got to beat them twice in order to be able to advance. And we haven't been able to beat them in the first 4 games of this year. And then, stuck it to them twice in a row. That for me, for sure, was sweeter than anything, because I can't stand somebody doing that to us as hard as we worked, and especially with how chirpy they were. So it was a nice little fight to be able to have with them.
Even after losing 4 games, I still knew after every game we lost that we were way better than them. More talented, definitely wanted it more. That there was no doubt we wanted it. And like the big for me going into the regional, like I felt so confident because of how Sam Lynn pitched against USC Aiken in the conference tournament.
Extreme.
Like, having that start against USC Aiken, and the game didn't mean anything. If we're looking back on it, the game really didn't mean anything. And Sam absolutely shoving against those guys and giving us a chance to win. We still lose, but we show up the next day, lose to Columbus.
Huge for him later on.
Yeah, and then it was a big confidence booster for him, and it meant more to the team than I think it meant to him, because we trusted him so much. It's just that sometimes he didn't know that we trusted him. And when he pitched against Belmont Abbey, the second game, we just killed him. I don't know any other way to say it. And then when he threw that first game in Cary, those 3 games back to back, he shoved every single game. And it's probably because of you, Johnny Maggs, and all the guys just being able to just say, we got you, man. And it just comes back to what we did all season. We were just going to pick everyone up no matter what. And I think going into the regional, there was no way we were going to lose the game there. No chance. Didn't have it. I knew we were going to Cary before we walked into Columbus State and beat Cheddars, for sure.
Yeah. I think the whole team knew that. And I think about it every once in a while. I hate that we didn't win that Peach Belt tournament, but how comfortable we were on the road and how comfortable we already knew that we were playing at Columbus State, taking 2 out of 3 from those guys during the regular season. Everybody on that team was on a mission, and the energy around the whole team, I think we all knew it. I mean, we just all knew it.
Shout out to our parents and fans too for being able to make any road game feel like we were in our home stadium, because that fed into it for sure in that regional. It felt like we were playing at Lander. So that definitely helped out too, being able to out energy the other team, I guess Coach Kermit would say.
Hey, I don't know if you guys remember we had a couple inter squads there before we went to the conference tournament, and Thomas, you may remember this. You went up and Sam Lynn was pitching, and he started talking trash to you because you were talking trash to him a little bit, and he struck you out. And you were standing next to me in the dugout, and I kind of winked at you when he was kind of looking over at you, and I was like, "Hey, man, that's going to be a good thing if that guy gets rolling." And we both kind of looked at each other and were excited. And I said, "Hey, when we get into that conference tournament, we get to game 3," because it was that pool play format. We knew who we were going to play in game 3. I said, if we're 2-0, and he goes up against Aiken, we're going to be in a good position. Yeah, it's pretty cool that somebody brought that up, because I thought that was obviously a key to our run because the game he pitched against Aiken was really good right there. But that was more of a setup for the game that he pitched against Belmont Abbey and then game 1 of the World Series. That was phenomenal. He pitched really well down the stretch. So did JD. I mean, JD's starts down the stretch were unbelievable. I thought that, his performance in the trash can in the conference tournament was really, really good.
Man, still don't know what happened. My God.
But man, he stuck it, and pitched like that against Aiken. In the regional, and just unbelievable. And we pitched it, man. I mean, we really threw the rock down the stretch, and we were prepped to do it. And obviously Will and JD, and man, on any given day, man, you watch our bullpen run out there, with Andrew and B. White and Robbie and Tripper. I mean, man, we had a pen, man. Our pen was really good, and I know he didn't get the win in the World Series, but man, Colton had some big starts, that year too. We had a really good staff, man. And I think that gets overshadowed by some of the home runs we hit and how good we were offensively. But we had a really, really good – it was a good group, man. It really was. But that inner squad we had in between the conference tournament or before the end of our season in the conference tournament, specifically that Sam Lynn matchup in that inner squad was really, really important to our success down the stretch.
Yeah, I was looking at the lines for those 2 Aiken games. Your 2 stars in those games, JD's 7 shutout with 3 hits. And then Jones went 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, 2 hits. I mean, it's hard to ask for much better than that from your starters in postseason play. Will, I'll go to you now. I'm opening up to anybody, but I want to get your thoughts first. You guys get the championship. You get to carry. Jones, when I say the word Central Missouri, what comes to mind?
What'd you say again? Central Missouri? Yeah. What?
Which team?
Come again? What?
Yes, Central Missouri. When I say the word Central Missouri, what comes to mind for you?
Oh, fired up. Hey, just ready to get after it. Central Missouri. It was hot out there. Was that the game? Was that the one we had to wait on? I can't remember.
Yeah, y'all were scheduled to start at 7. I think first pitch was like 10:50.
Yeah, so we had a lot of hype energy just going into it. So, if I would say the least, we had a lot of energy and just ready to get after it.
First thing I think of
I really know what game we're talking about.
I think of a bat flip from
yeah, bro, are you kidding? I thought Mangum was gonna have a heart attack.
Landed. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
I've never seen more energy in my life, I don't think.
I remember Swolby about to take somebody's head off at first base. That's all I remember.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
That one just popped up.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember. I remember all the stuff about the game, but what I remember is Swolby standing over a runner at first and Mangum trying to hold him back.
Yeah. To this day, I still don't really understand what those guys were thinking. But, now that I know we didn't win it, maybe I would have liked to rough it up a little more. But in the moment, got to keep my cool. You got to win the freaking whole thing. But, yeah,
I remember
Johnny Mag's
leading
crazy.
off with a bomb. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because all the week before, we were like, oh man, Carey's so long. Like you can't when we went there in 2014, we can't hit any home runs. We can't
let it off with the bang.
Coach Jay and Coach Smith, Coach Faulkner, and
BP. Goes, booyah. Maybe we just got more juice in this team. I don't know.
Big lefty comes in.
Yeah.
Hey, on that brawl too, we can't sleep on Kermdog flying down the line. He was in the mix. He was there.
Low key.
You watch,
ready to roll.
Yeah, you watch that video back. He's ready.
Fist clenched and everything, bowed up.
Yeah. It was kind of like when I had to keep Will in the dugout after John's home run. So
yeah.
Wow. I was waiting on that one, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Energy was there.
John, can you explain the celebration after the homer? Because until you posted something about it the other week. Until now, I had no idea what you were doing or what you were saying. I'd never seen anyone round the bases chopping themselves in the back the way you were. Can you explain?
Yeah,
because
I don't really know what I was doing, to be honest. I kind of like blacked out, you know. I remember trying to throw the bat, like kind of like to flip it, but not to actually like throw it as high as I did. I guess I was just from being so excited in the moment. But I don't remember anything rounding first base or rounding second base. When I was about to get to third base, I remember seeing all the guys. And so I guess the background to it was I thought that I had kind of let the team down in some certain situations earlier in the season when I had opportunities to drive in some really important runs and came up and with runners in scoring position a few times and struck out. You know, I struck out a lot that season. A lot of the guys kind of found my weakness, that power slider away, kind of like B. White's. And I remember being on the field with Coach Smith one day, taking extra BP after practice, and he's sitting there throwing, and we're talking about things and trying to make adjustments. And I remember telling him, like, man, I just want to be able to come through for the team when it's needed. And then obviously with a few hiccups the inning before, giving up, you know, putting a runner on, letting him get into scoring position, and then giving up a run as well with the ball off my glove because Reardon's two-seam was from hell that night.
Cutters or two-seams, you didn't know what was coming.
Yeah, it didn't know. It was going right or left. You just kind of had to pick one and guess. But, yeah, it was just really cool for me to be able to come up in that situation and do it because I remember being so upset the inning before, you know, when I let those errors happen. Came back in the dugout, locked myself in the bathroom, threw a few combos into the paper towel dispenser, and I remember actually thinking like, hey, if you get up this inning, you got to at least tie the game somehow. So and one thing I thought was pretty cool too, going back and seeing some video, was how hard Sage Cornasser was working once he got to second base. His secondaries, how aggressive he was just in his lead trying to mess with the pitcher, and the pitcher actually got flustered, stepped off at one point, and I knew he threw you know, a few balls out of the zone where he wasn't trying to, because I think he was worried a little bit about Sage as well with his speed. So you know, it was a really cool experience, something that I'll be able to take to the grave.
So the walk-off over Central Missouri, which, you know, Jones, do you remember that at bat? What do you remember about that specific at bat? Do you remember what he threw you?
I think it was just a fastball. I think it was a little, or maybe it was a curveball, and he knows I'm terrible at hitting curveballs. So he saw in the swing before that he just threw me one more curveball in the dirt. It was probably going to get me, but I was just trying to get a job done. Like Coach Smith always said, whatever you got to do, just go to war up there in the batter's box, and just try to get the job done. And I wasn't trying to do too much, just trying to really foul the ball off and get another pitch. But luckily, I think I got a little bit of the barrel on the ball and did the job.
Fouled it off 370 feet to left field.
Definitely. Yeah. Hey, whatever it takes. But, yeah, that was definitely a great experience. And I didn't really understand the question earlier about Central Missouri. But, yeah, that was definitely a great game. And like everybody's talking about, that energy just coming out of the dugout hot just fires you up.
So get that win and then tough one with Nova, and then coming back to have to play Southern Indiana, which is a team that Landon had to play 2 years earlier. What was that game like? Because I remember going into that game thinking how tired I was, and I hadn't picked up a ball all weekend. I didn't know how you guys, to play with the energy that you guys were playing with every night, how you guys were still being able to play at such a high level. What do you remember about the Southern Indiana game?
For me, I was so ready to beat those dudes. They made me so mad in 2014. Like I knew in 2014 we had a really, really good chance of that team. And we just kind of got I don't know if it's unlucky or just like our day, but I had a lot of revenge moments for that game for me personally. And knowing that, Lander's always a family. And when I went to that game, it was more like I'm trying to win this game so we can get close to the World Series. But I also knew that like Pat Grady, Eric Lundy, and all those guys, they want us to win this game more than I might even want to win this game right now. And when we went in there, and I don't remember the game too much, but I knew that it didn't matter if we played at 3 a.m. and we played at 7 a.m. again after that. We were going to have energy. That's just how our team worked. It didn't matter how we prepared was what made us such a good team, whether it was practice or whether it was just mental stuff. So for me, it was a revenge game for me going into it, but also knowing that we would be one step closer to winning a national championship too.
And I don't know if y'all remember, but that was the game they threw that freshman lefty. I think he was a freshman. He was tiny, but he threw curveball after curveball after curveball.
Flicking boogers.
That was, I mean, it was 60 miles an hour.
Yes.
We couldn't touch it. It was horrible.
Yeah, I think we were pretty pissed off about the game before. Honestly, I think we didn't show what we had capable. They kind of got a lead on us, and we knew we weren't out of it. We knew we had the talent and everything to win it, and we just wanted to go back out there. And we knew they were throwing these lefties, and we were going to have to grind it out. But we just knew we needed to win that game and, get to the next one and, just kind of prove ourselves again.
Yeah, and end up beating them 4-2 and then playing Millersville in a game to get to to force a one-game take-all to get to the national championship series, and came up just short against. I think Millersville was 52-5 going to the game that you guys played against them to end things at 44-16 and wind up being ranked third in the country, which is the highest ranking the school had ever achieved at the end of the season. That's really the only other question I have is just what's your, for whoever, the biggest takeaway that you have from the whole experience, from like B. White said, from night one at Legion to ending it with 4 games in Cary. What's the biggest thing that you took away from that whole season, that experience of being on that 2016 team?
No, I think a lot of it goes more into just baseball. It's the relationships that we had with one another, and how Coach Smith treated all of one of us like he was like we were his kids. And I think that's why the season was so great, and we can look back on it now. I would go back any day and do all those workouts that we were doing that we absolutely hated at 12 o'clock at night. Me and Jones and Kells are in the car trying to blare music as loud as we can to get pumped up. We're like, what the heck are we doing? And then now I look back and I'm like, I would love to go back and do that right now.
Yeah, I think to piggyback that, it's like most of us were only there together for 2 years, and I think the relationships that we were able to form from the top down, I mean, Coach Smith, Coach Jay, everybody involved with the program, obviously all the teammates, I mean, we were all so close. And I think that's part of why not coming out on top of the World Series was so tough. I mean, I still to this day think we were the best team in the tournament. I mean, you couldn't convince me otherwise. I think if we go in there and our bats don't struggle like they were and we play like we did basically the whole season, we come out with a ring. And but like Daly said, it goes beyond just baseball. I mean, I would go back and play Lander over and over again in a heartbeat before I'd go back and be with the Marlins or go back and do whatever. I mean, Lander was a really, really special thing for me personally. So
yeah, I think more than any game that we had, or any tournament or conference tournament or anything like that throughout the season, it's the practices, it's the time that we got to hang out with each other, being able to live at the apartment complex, Winter Ridge, all together in the same place and having those memories together. And also kind of just learning how to become men, really, dealing with failure and dealing with having to, work with time management and, learning each other too. We stepped on each other's toes, but we all knew at the end of the day too that it came from a place of love. And, the brotherhoods and the bonds that we made, I think, are going to go way further than any game or any ring, would take us. So I'm definitely thankful for that.
Yeah, and for me personally, I guess it's a little bit different because I guess I'm still blessed to still play this game, and every time I'm on the field, it's you got to find some extrinsic motivation, and luckily, like I was with a bunch of brothers that pushed me every single day to get better. And that didn't stop at Lander. That still goes on to today with workouts. It still goes on to the future. It goes on for the past. Like I sit down in my locker when I'm sitting there in June playing in Florida. I'm like, man, I could be at home hanging out on the lake, but Johnny Maggs would be pissed if I was thinking this right now. T-Bear would love to be in this situation. Colby would still love to be playing. Daly, all these guys. It's like I have to. It's not that I have to prove y'all that I'm good enough. It's that I need to do it because I know you guys would still love to have the situation to play too. And I appreciate you guys being so hard on everybody when it comes to John being on Will, Colby being on Daly, T-Bear being on me. Like that has made me stronger to want me to make it to the big leagues and try and put Lander into a situation where we can do what we have done in our program. So I appreciate you guys for making me the player that I am today and the player I'm going to be in the future, because every day I think about you guys when I get on the field. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, mentality was huge. I mean, I definitely want to give a shout out to the 2015 team. I feel like we learned a lot of things from them. We underachieved a lot, but guys like Weston Lawing, they kind of showed us, what it took. You really have to grind. And, I wasn't the person who's grinding off the field, but I had a lot of guys. I remember when we were at Legion Field, specifically, I remember me and Kells were doing, I think it was muscle ups on the brick, and I wanted to quit. And he told me, he's like, nah, dude, like, you're going to finish. It wasn't, like, hey, man, like, just keep going. It was like, nah, you got to finish. Like, this is a different year. Like, we got to take everything from last year and just say it's different, And I really appreciate, now even the life lessons we've learned, just the mentality of being kind of underdogs and grinding, really that whole bullpen, getting to the bullpen thing it goes bigger than that, just kind of battling adversity and being able to just grind it out until you can get there, and just having the faith and confidence that we could stick together. Because that year before we battled out, like pitchers had it for hitters were complaining about pitchers, and the next year it just all gelled. We weren't afraid to help each other out, and we respected each other, and that was huge.
I remember Coach saying, whenever you have that kind of a season, it's such a special season that you got to take it and you got to put it away in a vault. You can always go back and, reminisce about it. It was the best year. I think it was the best year of my life. I get emotional just thinking about it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Best year of my life for sure.
Wouldn't want to take the field with anybody else, any other coaching staff. The best group of guys that I played with. And I wish we could go back. Like Colby said, we should have won the damn. I still think that to this day. But won't ever forget it. It was a hell of a ride. Love you boys.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes years like that so special is, I think you guys have referenced several times not winning the whole thing. And, for me, obviously I'm kind of on the other side of the spectrum in terms of age. But for me, the sadness and the regret, it's that you don't get to go out and practice that next day just because of how awesome it was, T-Bear and Kells, I don't know if you guys remember, your class schedule that year, but, it was just, when you guys showed up to practice, it was like an influx of energy, I'm throwing BP and you guys are walking into practice and, just the camaraderie we had, like, you know, families thrown around a lot, you know, in different areas. But I you know, you can just tell the camaraderie on this call here is just, you know, the sadness for me, you know, and it's probably not from not winning the national championship. The sadness for me is we just didn't get to have one more day together, you know, because I think everything that we did, you know, there was a lot of we just enjoyed being around each other so much, and that's why we've got that bond, and we always will. You know, the number of texts and phone calls and everything else, there's no question I could pick up the phone and call anybody on the Zoom right now, and it doesn't stop there. There's several more guys, you know, and that played such a huge role in our success. And, you know, that it was a team. It really was. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun to be around, most every second of every day. That practice time was something I look forward to every day.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody jumping on here. I know ran a little bit longer than I told you it would, but really great to catch up with everybody and relive what was an incredible season to get to be a part of and to get to go along for that ride with you guys. So thank you for the memories back then, and thank you for reminiscing now. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks,
Rick. It could have been longer.
Yeah. Love all y'all. Good to
Love
see
y'all,
everybody.
boys.
Love you too, guys.
Love you guys.
Love you, y'all.
Love y'all.